Welcome back to Pop Kannon. This is episode 19. I'm Jordan.
I am Robert.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Brian.
Well, guys, here we are.
How exciting.
19, huh? Holy shit.
19 episodes deep, and we are ready to talk all about Iron Man 4, Iron Man Jr.
I believe that actually would have been Homecoming.
All right, anyway, so it's Spider-Man Far From Home. The sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming from 2017, also directed by John Watts, starring Tom Holland.
And also the final film in the Infinity Saga.
Yep.
Yeah.
Phase 3 is done.
Let's just make a big joke out of everything.
Oh, dear.
We'll just call it a blip. We had a blip, guys. We're starting off
Jordan,
hot.
what are
We're
your
hitting the ground
thoughts?
running. Initial thoughts. Rob, go.
Are you sure you don't want to finish your initial thoughts? Jordan?
Right?
You seem to be editorializing just a tad bit there. You might as well lead us in.
All right. All right.
You don't like that it was called the blip, but we're okay with calling New York an incident.
Yeah,
Was
right? I definitely was not okay with the incident, but yeah. I'm fine with the blip, actually.
It's not so much the name. It's just like, oh my God, there's a marching band in the center of the room now. There's a
It goes
basketball.
to the point that Brian made an Endgame where he wanted to know what happened to those people.
Well, that's what happened, and they made it a joke.
Okay.
Yeah, but
It's a Spider-Man
Immediately.
movie.
it was also like they showed you what happened. They could have not mentioned it at all and said, fuck you.
I mean, they could have.
So this movie was not just going to be a Spider-Man movie. I mean, it's coming off of Endgame, which was arguably the biggest thing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, and that's,
So,
I think,
I
to its
mean-
detriment.
Oh, okay. Yikes.
I think. This should be fun. Aren't you guys excited? We're talking about Spider-Man,
Handicap match. Let's do it.
right? All right. Anyway, but seriously though, I did like the movie. I thought it was way better than Homecoming.
Oof.
Like by miles. By miles.
Wow.
The more that I'm sitting and thinking about it, the more I liked it. I do have quite a bit of issues with it, but it's nowhere near as bad as Homecoming, in my opinion.
Wow. The fact that you would use the word bad and Homecoming.
Homecoming was
together
bad. Homecoming was a bad Spider-Man movie.
Oh my God, it was not. Oh my God, it was not.
Fight me, Brian.
I'm not going to fight about it because it wasn't a bad movie or a bad Spider-Man movie or a bad Marvel movie at all. It was not bad on any level. You are literally the only person I've known who has ever used the word bad and Homecoming together.
Eh.
Oh, sorry, Spider-Man Homecoming. The actual dance Homecoming that we all went to, those were all bad. But
Yeah, that wasn't much fun. I had a
Yeah.
fucked up eye at the time. It was weird.
I don't know. I did like the movie. Thought it was okay. Could have been a lot
What?
better.
It's funny.
Far
So
From
it's funny to me that Far From Home suffers because of its connection to Endgame, when Homecoming stood essentially on its own, and it's bad to you. So I'm trying to figure out what you were looking for in terms of
Homecoming
what
did
this
not
should have
stand
been.
on its own. But we're not
Homecoming
talking about
Absolutely
that.
did. It wasn't connected.
Homecoming stood on its own more than Far From Home did.
Absolutely.
Homecoming had some strands from Civil War, obviously, but
It had that. It had the whole. The entire plot was based off of the incident, tying together the villain with Tony Stark, which they did again,
I have no problem with that. Okay,
and that's
Anyway.
fine.
Everything in the MCU is connected to Tony Stark. I don't know if you've seen anything else.
Was Black Panther tied to Tony Stark? That's what I thought. All right. So does anyone else want to take a spin at this?
No, that's fair. Not everything in the MCU is tied to Tony Stark. Fine.
Exactly. It doesn't need to be.
Okay, I'm sorry. 21 out of 22 things were tied to Tony
right.
Stark. For fucking give me. But no, explain to me why fucking we should have had Tobey Maguire cry for an entire film. Go ahead.
Did I say that? No.
Oh fuck, Andrew, what were your thoughts on Far From Home?
I really liked it. Sorry, this is gonna be a tough one to recover from. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. There were some good heartfelt moments and great action, and all the different Spider-Man suits I enjoyed. I'm sorry, Jordan. Like, what did Far From Home improve upon then that made you like this one?
The action scenes were better. He felt more like Spider-Man in this one because he didn't have like an AI suit telling him what to do. I liked MJ a lot more in this movie versus the last one because I thought she was super annoying in the first one. This one she was not nearly as bad. I actually found her to be kind of charming.
I agree. I didn't dislike her in the first one, but I definitely liked her. I liked most of the characters. I think did a better job.
Yeah. I loved Ned in this movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Ned and Betty Brant together, their scenes, I was laughing.
I was so
laughing hysterically.
Babe.
And we got Betty Brant in a movie.
Well, she was in the first one too.
Yeah. But it's just, I don't know, I like that. I like deep cuts.
And I fucking loved Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking loved him.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal was awesome.
Absolutely. Rob, what are your thoughts on the initial thoughts on the film?
I fucking loved it. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. They did everything. They capitalized on everything that was set up and then made everything else better. The action scenes were great. Tom Holland was fantastic again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the best Spider-Man.
I
in my
agree.
opinion.
All of his friends, everybody that was involved in it was believable. Fucking JB Smoove was fantastic.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I love
totally,
that guy. I
totally
love
did
that
not
guy.
expect to see him in that.
No,
that was great.
I love that guy. I remember when they announced he was cast, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, he's going to be J. Jonah Jameson."
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
I do remember that. Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
remember
right.
hearing that. But that's awesome.
Yeah.
But no, it was definitely cool that he was one of the teacher chaperones on their European vacation.
I'm a man of science, so I'm just going to tell you it's witches.
Dude, that was fucking amazing. He was amazing.
And just the ongoing joke of him calling witchcraft on everything is so great.
Right.
Yeah.
Martin Starr as Mr. Harrington, I thought
my
was
God.
fantastic. His line where he was like, "Yeah, my wife said that she got blipped." I think that might have been my favorite joke of the film.
We had a fake funeral. Well, the funeral wasn't fake, but you know,
Hilarious.
so fucking great.
When he's trying to he's like, "Oh, well, Peter, he's allergic to perfume." He's like, "What?"
Oh my god.
Peter's allergic. Okay, you sit here. You two switch seats, and he gets MJ and the douchey kid.
It was
that's
like a
after
great
MJ.
idea that just went awry for them.
Yeah.
I did. I just thought all of that, like the costumes were great. I thought it was really cool how the Iron Spider suit looked so out of place among a bunch of humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
at a Salvation Army center, yeah.
Yeah, like it just
Homeless shelter.
it looked so because it wasn't made to be. It's like for space, you know. So it was so cool that it really looked out of place among everybody that was there.
Absolutely.
And Happy Hogan was fantastic, but you could give me
yeah.
Jon Favreau just like reading the Notebook, and I'd be like, I'd be very interested.
Wait, reading the screenplay to the Notebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
If he read Nicholas Sparks' The Notebook, I would read it. I would listen.
So I really liked it. I've now seen it twice, and the second time definitely improved it for me. I also have issues with it. We'll get into all this, but yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really, really good, and it's definitely one of the best Spider-Man films out of the goddamn, I don't know, seven of them. Mysterio, goddamn, he's one of my favorite villains, and it was so great to see him on the screen with the fishbowl.
Definitely. He looked great.
Yeah, and and I agree with Jordan what you said. Jake Gyllenhaal just was fucking awesome in that role.
Yeah.
So
I loved as the film progressed, and they kind of beat Molten Man is what I guess everybody's calling him.
Yeah.
that's what the figure's being called.
Right.
It's the fire elemental.
So they defeat him, and you realize you've only been sitting there for about an hour.
Right.
And the idea is just like, all right, where's the other shoe going to drop? Like, it's Mysterio, obviously.
Right.
But it's like, where and how does it spin the movie now? Because
So-
everything that was in, like, trailers and whatnot, because I only watched the 2, didn't really give you the rest of the movie
No.
after the turn.
Right.
Even though the turn was, you knew the turn was coming, but it was just a matter of, like, how, and I think they executed it fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's really my first criticism of the. It's not the film. It's of the trailers. I don't like that the trailers were he's a multi-dimensional hero, the Mysterio. And I guess like maybe they just wanted to do that for the casual moviegoers to then give them the bait and switch halfway through and like, whoa, that's not what the trailer said was going to happen. But that one trailer I saw from the get-go, I'm like, well, that's Mysterio. That's all bullshit. Like, there's no way.
Right.
There's no way the MCU Mysterio is going to be a hero. There's no fucking way that he's pulling the wool over their eyes. And it was just once we're in the theater, it's like trying to figure out for an hour, like, how the fuck is he doing it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But once you find out, you're like, wow, this is sophisticated.
It was how he was doing was fucking great. Like within the MCU, like that was a great MCU way. Like that he doesn't have the hollow cubes. He has the drones. He has the cloaking tech. He has the holography. Like all of that was fucking awesome.
I'm still paying homage.
I loved that they took something that Tony Stark has shown you previously that you're all aware of, and used it for bad.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love the idea that Tony Stark spurned this guy because it's something that happened in like every Iron Man film, Civil War, like all. It happens constantly.
That's what I don't like, because it continually
But the thing is that Tony's a fucking cocksucker. That's the issue. But he's constantly spurning people, and those people always come back to roost. Always. Rather than be a nice guy, which is he only decided to do at the very end of his life. He only ever decided to do that at the very end of his life. Everything else was self-serving. So he finally sacrifices himself. And now all of the people that he has fucked with in the past are coming to harm people that he loved. It makes sense within the universe.
Yeah, I agree. It does.
Yeah.
Every fucking Batman villain somehow was tied to Batman, or Batman created him, or Bruce Wayne did this, and now he's out to destroy Gotham City. So why wouldn't Tony Stark, in his infinite quest for money and glory, have fucked over a ton of people that become supervillains?
It's just weird coming to a Spider-Man movie and getting another Tony Stark creation. Oh, another person was burned by Tony Stark, and now this is affecting Peter.
But you couldn't have it. You couldn't have the Spider-Man movie after what happened in Endgame and not have Tony be a focal point.
Agreed.
He was his
It could have been
protege.
anybody's movie. If this was Ant-Man and the Wasp, it would have been Tony.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, like, if you're going to involve Tony in all of the future of the MCU going forward, like, why not just keep him alive?
Well, I don't think they're gonna. I think this movie was the coda. This was the epilogue to the Infinity Saga, to the Tony Saga.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna have a whole lot of mentioning of Tony going forward. I don't.
I mean, I don't
I
have
think
enough
you'll still have
confidence
the murals
to say
on
that
the
it's
walls.
not, because, I mean, yeah, like you said, the murals on the walls, and the previous Spider-Man villain being burned by Tony Stark, and then this one being burned by Tony Stark. Like, there was zero personal connection to Peter. And I think that's part of the reason why I still wasn't, like, in love with this movie.
Okay.
Well, he's
that
also
you wanted-
still a child.
You wanted a strictly Spider-Man movie, basically?
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, I think we're
I
gonna
don't
get that with the
understand-
third one, but and any others going forward, but.
Yeah, but I
this
don't.
one-
I don't know that. I'm not gonna have my expectations high, thinking, "Oh, well, this is gonna, be its own thing." But I mean, who knows? Maybe somehow, some way, it'll equate back to Tony Stark.
I'll be honest, like, going forward, if, hopefully, my hope is that they now have Spider-Man movies every 2 years, because there are no more Iron Man films, or at least they're not going to be for a while until they recast or figure out how to do another Iron Man. There are no Captain America films until they figure out what the fuck they're doing with Sam as Cap. Hopefully it's not part of that fucking TV show, but who knows.
Yeah, I'd rather be a Sam Cap movie.
Yeah, absolutely. But, again, we'll get more answers to all this at Comic-Con in a couple weeks. But I feel like Spider-Man has to be the big name for the Marvel Universe going forward until they can get another Captain Marvel, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, get those sequels going.
Yeah.
So my hope is that with the next film that we get him... Because so this is one of the things, and I said it in the little review I posted, I didn't really like the international setting too much.
And I was kind of the same way, but I didn't think that I would dislike it until I was watching it unfold.
Yeah,
and that's not even the big.
No. Again, I don't
being international kept it very personal for Peter because he had to keep his little group alive and safe.
Fair, that's fair, and he had to disguise his Spider-Man-ness with the quote-unquote stealth suit or the disguise suit or the night monkey suit, whatever you want to call it.
Night monkey.
Yeah. I get that, but again, this is where my little old man crotchety Spider-Man fan comes through. I just want to see him in New York. I just want to see him swinging around New York fighting the Sinister Six, So the international setting... Yeah, no, again, hopefully we do. I mean, again, I'm not saying this was a big problem that I had. It was just I had a lot of little things that started to add up, and that was one of the things. The international setting I just kind of thought was I didn't think it was that awesome. It was great for the European Board of Tourism. They got a lot of great sweeping shots of Venice and Prague and the Alps,
and
like
Hydro Man killing people.
The water elemental.
It's Hydro Man.
They I don't know if you heard, but they mentioned
him.
actual Hydro Man in Flash. Yeah, he said, "Oh yes, on was it Reddit or BuzzFeed or something?"
Yeah.
On was it Morris Bench? I think is his name.
Yeah, whatever
the actual character.
Name
Yeah,
is.
so they mentioned the character's name exists in the MCU with Hydro powers. So hopefully they're saving Hydro Man. Yeah.
Oh, that's because I thought all the elementals were I thought they were just kind of nods to Spider-Man villains, but that's cool.
I think they were, but they weren't meant to be the actual MCU versions of Molten Man, of Sandman, of Cyclone, of Hydro Man. So.
Oh, that's awesome then, because I think that'd be really cool to have Hydro Man in a movie then.
Yeah, Hydro Man would be a great fucking a great enemy. Let's say, what was everyone's favorite scenes?
Oof.
The fucking Mysterio scene where he fucking was showing him all of those hallucinations, and then he was changing suits, and then we saw the dead Iron Man guy show up.
Oh, Marvel Zombies.
Oh,
yeah,
that was
it was definitely a nod to Marvel Zombies.
Absolutely,
fucking incredible.
I was expecting him to be cut in half, but he wasn't.
That part of the movie is amazing.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted. That's all I wanted.
Yeah, that's literally all I wanted.
Mysterio scene.
Not just that, but also then during the final battle, the illusions in that little hallway or bridge.
Oh yeah.
The walkway, I guess. More of that. Just all of that was done fucking perfect.
I don't. It's hard. I'm hard pressed to name a better sequence in the movie. I think that's probably everybody's favorite thing that happened.
So I absolutely know what my favorite sequence is, and I'm a little conflicted about it for a few reasons, but. Watching it the first time and then watching it the second time, I was grinning ear to ear after Peter and May and Happy have their little talk, and he goes, "I got a date, I gotta go," and he's just swinging through the city, and I was just like, "This is what I want. This is what I want from a Spider-Man movie. This is
still in the black and red."
Oh god, yeah, in the black and red, the upgraded suit. Yeah, it was
that suit was beautiful, by the way.
Yeah.
That suit looks so much better on screen than it does in the form of an action figure.
Oh, agreed.
Or an image online.
Yeah.
When I first in use, it's fucking gorgeous.
Agreed. When I first saw it, I think it was on the poster. I was like, I don't know about that, and why black and red, But then then he makes it, and I see it, and we still don't know the reasoning why the colors, but it looked fucking awesome.
Oh, and he had the webbing, so he could do the glide. He could glide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was awesome.
Well, he had
He
that
upgra-
in Homecoming too. But
yeah, but
He
it was
did.
still nice seeing it. But
He
I just
upgraded
like,
the tasers, the taser webbing. He upgraded. Like, yeah, it's a fucking awesome suit.
I wish
the
I
color.
almost wish they didn't spoil it in the trailers, and that was like a big reveal. But I mean, I'm really
Toys.
happy with the way that it looks.
Got to sell toys. So
I also think do you think it's an allusion to Miles Morales? Because his suit's black and red,
I-
and Miles does exist in the universe.
I think it's that and also Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and I remember back before the Raimi movie came out, Alex Ross designed a black and red costume for that character. They actually had it in the video game.
oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, so it looked kind of similar to that. So that was the first thing that popped in my brain when I saw it. But I love that white spider on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It did look
Yeah,
like
I
it.
immediately equipped that on my PS4, and I haven't played with anything since.
Did you guys, when he was creating it, did you notice any of the other like hologram armor?
I tried
the
to
other-
see all of them. I only caught like the Iron Spider, and I believe the Night Monkey one had already been uploaded. And the tech
Big
suit.
Time. Big Time was on there
Oh shit!
Wait, what? Oh, Big Time was in there?
for like right when it's for a split second. Although it's the last time you see the little holograms of the suit, he scrolls over and you see it, and then he scrolls back. I'm almost positive it was the. Big
Oh,
Time
that's
suit.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because there was a part when even Nick Fury says, "Oh, you're big time now," and I was like, "Oh, that's neat, little throwaway." But, yeah.
Sorry, well, that not Nick Fury, but you know, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get to that. You guys want to talk about that mid-credit scene now? Because I've been waiting to talk about that for a while.
Sure.
Or should we? Or do you want to?
You talking about mid credit or post credit?
Let's do
Mid-credit.
mid-credit.
Okay, all right, mid credit.
Also,
So-
I love that because I wasn't in Jordan, the original Raimi movie, when he's swinging through the city with MJ. She's like, "Wow, this is great," and all whimsical. And this
Yeah,
one,
basically.
she's like, "Ah, fuck,
I think like
put me down."
every other type of medium where he's like swinging with someone,
Yeah,
they're like
"Oh,
all
this is
calm and
great."
shit.
But I like that she's like, "I can't look down. Just put me down," just like screaming the whole time.
Like a person actually would.
But yeah, and then when they put her down, and her hair's all fucking crazy, and he's gonna step on the thing.
Again, like what would happen as you're swinging like 90 miles per hour through the wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And what is-
so J. Jonah Jameson pops up on the fucking screen,
Yeah.
and it's J.K. Simmons.
No one could handle it. in the
I
theater.
literally like jumped out of my seat almost. I thought that was awesome.
I was clapping.
That was my
I put my arms up like my team scored a touchdown.
yeah.
So did I, yeah.
and honestly, that
And I think I went. Ooh.
it was so left field.
Yeah.
And but like super exciting, super great to see him back in that role, cuz I don't think it would have worked for them to recast that.
No.
No.
Not
The only way it would have
well.
been with JB Smoove.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But even so, like those are he was like perfectly cast in the Raimi
Yeah.
movies. And so to
And
see
I'm
him back is awesome.
I'm so glad that wasn't spoiled.
Oh, me too.
Same.
Oh,
man.
me too.
The whole theater went nuts.
I know people were posting about that mid-credit scene as a mind blower and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but like all that did was build anticipation for me to like get to it.
Yeah.
But I did not read beforehand either of the things that were revealed
Yeah,
in
same.
the mid-credit scene.
Yeah, I popped so hard when I saw him. But then he goes
Yeah.
on to reveal that Mysterio has set up a camera and has basically framed Spider-Man for that whole attack.
He fake newsed him.
He fake newsed
Yeah.
him and went on to reveal his identity to the world.
And I think it was the USB drive that Peter Billingsley took out of the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because
Yeah.
he like had that set up from earlier, but not entirely
That was like
sure.
right before all of that went down, or like right after all of the Mysterio stuff went down. He like they made it a point to show him taking a drive out of the computer.
Yeah, and something said download complete,
Yeah.
stuff like that. There's a couple other things on his screen that I couldn't see, or that I didn't have time to make out, but yeah.
So I'm fairly certain that that's how that video got out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and during the final battle, at some point, Quentin Beck says to, I think the character's name is William, he says to William, like, get the hollow rig of my costume ready. So, yeah, and I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know how I feel about the reveal to the world that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. It absolutely was a huge, hugely unexpected thing. But I don't know how I feel about that for this franchise going forward. I mean, I don't know how they deal with that.
It's got its pros and cons because one, it takes away like the story of basically Peter struggling between the two personalities and having to hide it from people, having to hide it from Aunt May, having to hide it from MJ, having to hide it from his job potentially. But it opens up a lot of doors to explore how he's going to react to that.
Yeah.
Like, how is Flash going to react to that?
Right. Right.
Like that's what I thought. Like, oh, I would like to see how he would react.
Yes, man, Spider-Man is awesome. What's up, dickwad?
Yeah, like
he makes me want to be a better man.
it's got
So great.
it's got potential to be explored.
And it's really, obviously, it's a story that has not been explored on film,
Right.
Exactly.
like at all.
Yeah.
So there's no retreading of any previous existing Spider-Man incarnation ever.
Yeah.
It's a completely new concept.
For movies.
No, I'll give them that. It again, like, it was just, I did not see that coming at all.
Yeah.
No.
I just he's still a kid. He's still in high school. He hasn't graduated. I know that this version of of Spider-Man, a lot of people already knew. And during the course of the film, we find out that a lot of people off of Earth knew that too. So, but yeah, so now everyone knows. And I mean, look, I'm gonna go see whatever Spider-Man films they make. It's just, it's a weird new area.
I think it would be very interesting to have them go with the denial route.
Yeah.
And try to prove that Mysterio was just
Right.
a quack.
Yeah.
And, that would be, like, there's obviously going to be people that believe it, but now Peter's going to have to try to be more Peter in situations rather than disappear.
So-
Because people are going to be like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
like Civil War, where he came out and was like, "I'm Spider-Man." This is Civil War in the comics, rather. But
yeah.
So this is new territory for the movies, and that's awesome. The whole.
I
world
also
knows.
think it's interesting because it's a bit of cyclical storytelling with the story of Iron Man himself.
Right.
In that Tony did it on his own terms, and Peter wasn't afforded that opportunity. So you get how those stories are kind of spinning with one another.
I was talking about this with a coworker, and it's possible that they could bring life model decoys into it, because they already used that term in the first Avengers. Tony dropped that term. I could see that happening as a way for him to, be Spider-Man in one place and Peter in another, because obviously that's going to start, like, there's no way they can really write that he's going to get away with that anymore.
I mean, it's possible.
I don't know.
And that's why it's interesting to me, because they literally wrote themselves into a corner, and I'm very curious to see how they get out of it.
Yeah.
Because they could pull it off in a way that none of us are expecting, and we're going to be like, holy shit, the fucking chameleon's there?
Speaking of which, did you all see that Chameleon was in this movie?
No, what?
So the guy Dimitri, who worked for quote unquote Fury, I was like, Dimitri, why did that? So I went home and I looked up. Yeah, he's Dimitri the Chameleon.
No shit.
the actual, like, the full Dimitri's last name. It's like a Slavic name. That's Chameleon. That's the MCU's Chameleon. So I'm sure we'll see him again at some point. The bus driver.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was trying to figure out who that was, but okay, that's cool.
Unless they just made him into a Skrull. But, I mean...
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So that's the other big reveal.
Yeah, let's talk post-credits real quick.
Jesus Christ.
And then we'll dive back into the movie.
Yeah, so we find out that Fury and Maria Hill, who were throughout the entire movie present, were not actually present, because it was actually Talos and Soren, who were two of the Skrulls from Captain Marvel, posing as Fury and Maria Hill. And Fury...
Under the direction of Fury.
Under very, very light direction. Very laissez-faire direction by Fury. Because they only called him after a week of fucked up shit had happened. And he's on a base with Skrulls out in space. So someone said it might be a shipyard. I don't know. Someone dropped S.W.O.R.D. as a possibility, that he's making S.W.O.R.D., which would be very cool. But yeah, I don't know. I now, having seen that twice, I felt the same way each time. Like, what the fuck is going on? And not in a good way.
Yeah, I did not like that.
The reason why I was kind of okay was because it kind of explained why Fury was acting like a dumbass the entire time.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I agree with that, but I'm not. But what I'm saying, I don't even like that.
There was a lot of stuff that Fury did throughout the movie that I'm just like, he is really off.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Like, way off his base.
Yeah, no, they absolutely wrote that to be consistent. I'll give them that, but I don't like it.
I am not a fan of the fact that it was the Skrulls coming back.
Oh, well, they're here to stay. The MCU isn't moving forward without the Skrulls in a sympathetic role. Yeah.
So my only hope is that they're working up a long con like they did with Winter Soldier, that Hydra was within S.H.I.E.L.D. the whole time. I really hope that the Skrulls are playing the long con for a secret invasion. Maybe not so secret invasion,
I mean,
but that would be fine. I'd be fine with that if that's the payoff, you know?
The secret invasion.
We can't get the Fantastic Four, but we can get the Super Skrull.
And then, so I read something quick after the movie, after I got home, that I guess there was a brief glimpse of Avengers Tower in the film.
Well, it's no longer Avengers Tower.
I think that was the snow globe, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
When he's swinging.
Oh, really? I didn't even pick up on it.
Oh, I didn't notice it when he was swinging either.
But apparently it's under construction, and everybody thinks it's going to be the Baxter Building.
I think that's possible.
Huh.
Well, don't forget that, they basically closed it down at the end of Homecoming.
Right.
Well,
Happy said they had sold it.
Yeah.
So they sold it in Homecoming, and yeah, it's as he's going to meet MJ, like right before he meets MJ, he uses his little, the glider to go through a building that's got like a garden, it's there's a hole through it.
I do remember that.
That was Avengers Tower, and it's now a completely different building. So that would be really cool if it were the Baxter Building, but there's no absolutes that it was,
Someone said that it could have been potentially sold to Oscorp.
Oh shit! Oh,
So
that'd be
another
cool.
thing.
I'd be cool with either of those.
That would be cool.
there are a lot of possibilities with it.
Yeah,
and that's exciting for the future of it.
But so the whole thing with the Skrulls having those two Skrulls having been Fury and Hill throughout the movie, it brings up a bigger problem to me that I think the MCU has had since. Really, since after Age of Ultron. What the fuck are Fury and Hill doing? Because they show up in Age of Ultron with a helicarrier, and it looks like they've got S.H.I.E.L.D. maybe back, and like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show kind of related to that, but then after that, they just were gone. They weren't involved in Civil War, which I thought was one of the only problems that Civil War really had story-wise, is like, where the fuck is Fury? Fury should be involved in this. Like, why the fuck isn't he involved in this? And then they just show up at the end of Infinity War mentioning, like, we've got to call Control, and then they get dusted.
Yeah.
And it's just like, where the fuck have they been? We spent 6 or 7 movies at the front end of this MCU setting up that Fury is the ultimate fucking badass guy, and yeah, I get that he didn't know about Hydra, and so that gets taken down, but it's not like he would just not be involved at all in any of the shit going on after Age of Ultron. So I just, like, what the fuck has been going on? That's another thing with me. It's like, well, and now he's got Skrulls back on Earth doing shit for him, which I don't think that he would do that. I don't buy that Fury would have someone pose as him. I don't buy that. So
I watched like a video breakdown before talking about how long he was potentially up in space.
Oh, okay.
And someone's theory was like after the events of Winter Soldier and then that scene in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he decided to take off and leave things to Coulson or whatever, and then have Skrulls pose as his doubles.
So so according to this theory that he, like, when we see him in Age of Ultron and everything, that's Talos?
He's a Skrull, yes.
Oh, shit.
That's someone's theory, and the reason why is because, and this harkens back to Captain Marvel, in order to prove that he's a human, he says he can't eat his toast when it's cut diagonally. And then in that scene in Age of Ultron, he cuts diagonally his grilled cheese sandwich.
Shit. Oh my god, that's too much.
I mean, that is him using life model decoys in a way.
Wow. Huh.
So,
In a way.
The Skrulls are the life model decoy.
Yeah. Wow.
At least he's got the best one at doing it.
It's not his science guy.
Thank you. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's my science guy over there.
So, but it just goes to show, like, we don't know how long exactly he's been
That's fair.
Talos.
I'll just say that with the revelation, and this is just one of those things like that my brain just goes to, is like, these fucking Skrulls know everything. Mm-hmm. They know
and
everything.
That helps them out on a invasion.
And and again, if that's the payoff, I will be more than happy. That would be fucking great.
They're the next big threat instead of after Thanos would be a secret invasion.
I would be fine with that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Unsecret invasion.
There we go. I had brought up how cool would it be if the next big threat other than Thanos was the Sinister Six.
I would love that too.
Yeah.
We've got 3 of them.
Yeah. We can really bolster that roster of Spider-Man villains and have him lead the charge, ultimately resulting in Peter's death.
Yeah, at the hand. Do you think they would go like the ultimate route?
I
Like
think
at the
so.
hands of
I
Green
feel like
Goblin?
they're going more ultimate than normal comics.
And then bring in
Bring in Miles.
Bring in
He's
Miles.
already confirmed to be in the in the
I'm
MCU,
really hoping that's
technically.
I'm really hoping that's not for at least 2 or 3 more movies, because I fucking love Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and I do not want to see him get killed off yet.
I want at least one Miles Peter team up too.
I would definitely like a Miles Peter team up, and then Miles can mess something up, and then Peter will die.
Yeah.
And then that is the thing that pushes Miles forward to be the hero.
So one thing that I did not like was Mysterio's big, like, here's how I did it speech.
You mean
Because it was very on the nose.
Exposition theater? Yeah.
Absolutely agree.
I just felt like that didn't need to be a thing. I thought it was cool how they kind of tied it and brought like random characters in from previous films, but like ultimately I feel like we didn't need all of that just to be like, hey, look, it's the MCU. Look over here. Here's how we did it.
I felt like that. I don't know why. I felt like that was where the writing really. Maybe they just couldn't think of a good way to write that. Obviously, they didn't. But I did not like that at all. I thought it ground the movie to a halt. And like it was just they kept toasting people, and it's like, how many? You're gonna toast every single person in this fucking room? Like,
Yeah.
That was the joke.
yeah, but it wasn't funny. and it was like grating. Like it was like, okay, but we don't give a fuck about any of these people. Like I get William because we technically saw him before. He was the exact actor in that Iron Man scene with Obadiah Stane. You know,
Yeah, it's Ralphie.
right, Ralphie, right.
Yeah, but if we only got like him toasting him, I would have been fine with it, I think.
Fair, but I definitely didn't need the guy who wrote up the idea, who the guy who and the girls who sorry, the ladies who one did an EMP, one did the costumes. Like, we don't need this. Like,
I did enjoy how Beck was basically in like a mocap suit, and he had that like glass bubble at the end, so like Peter actually got to punch something.
He actually got to punch the fishbowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. It's a nice way of utilizing that character in like a modern version.
Plus, his suit was fairly comic accurate, even down to like the square kind of scale looking on his undersuit.
Yeah, the eyes.
And the eyes, yeah.
It was all awesome.
Gauntlets, yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, the gauntlets on his arms.
Yeah, Mysterio was... I think you were saying earlier, but I'm just so happy we got to see Mysterio in a big budget, multi-million-dollar endeavor, because he's always been a fan favorite, and I never thought I'd get to see him in a movie like this. And it's just awesome to finally see it.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with his speech at all. I actually was like, I took it as the point of it is that he is actually not this sweet, humble guy that's been coercing Peter all along, that he's actually a psychopathic asshole, and he's totally not humble and is rounding the bases for him and his crew that pulled this long con off.
I would have been fine with if it had just been talking about that and maybe just said like, and you all helped, with the drones and everything, like, but just dragging it just dragged on for me.
The whole in like pound you over the head with exposition part kind of got me, but I think I would have been fine, like you said, if he just looked at William, was like, and and a big shout out to so and so for yada yada yada, and then
I mean the drones are the biggest fucking part. So
yeah,
well, not just the drones and the the barf.
What did you guys think of Edith?
I thought it was pretty cool that the first thing he does is try to kill his rival.
Yeah. I really liked that. But there was like a slight letdown for me, just because one of the internet artists that does a comic had me like slightly hopeful that it was going to be Tony in there.
Right. Oh, I remember that.
Oh yeah, I remember that too.
But I'm totally cool with it not being him. But I love that Edith stands for "Even Dead, I'm the Hero."
That's fucking incredible.
Brilliant to me.
Yeah.
I really like that he has full access to all of the Stark tech around the universe. And that he was able to call in a drone strike on the bus he was riding.
Just that whole setup when he was just like, eliminating target. What? And then you cut to space and it's a giant fucking satellite that goes into view.
The cut to space was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I lost it. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I think Michael Giacchino did the music again, and he's just, again, nailed it with this fucking score. And just the music kicked into just ultra epic space opera, like, tones and everything as this thing launches. And it was great because it's that whole thing of like when you introduce a gun, the gun has to fire later. So they introduced it so that you could see the one drone shooting out of it, and then you see all of them during the battle in London.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I thought that was so fucking cool.
So Beck, we see that technically we see him die, I guess, but do we?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that.
Oh, he was dead.
But was he?
He said Edith, right? Didn't he check to see if he was dead?
So he checked with Edith, and Edith said there are no illusions. But when Beck started, he didn't have drones that were under Edith's control. He had drones that William, that they had their own drones. So it's entirely possible that there was an illusion going that Edith had no control, therefore no knowledge of.
True, and that would be a Mysterio move.
But even if,
and that could be, yeah.
Even if he's dead, William taking that thing, really anyone can be Mysterio now.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, technically, William could just be Mysterio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could still be like Jake Gyllenhaal's image up there,
Right.
technically.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyone could be portraying the character.
So then really all we need is Doc Ock, Electro, and Kraven to be introduced.
I like the route they went with Doc Ock in the Spider-Man game. Where I could totally see that. Like, Peter gets out of college or gets out of high school and gets a job, and he kind of he's his protege.
The most obvious way for me that I see them doing it would be that he's a professor or a teacher we haven't seen at Midtown High.
Yeah.
And that he's one of many science teachers there.
It's gonna be JB Smoove. Calling it now. He's
I'm
Doc
a motherfucking octopus.
There's
a
no
sick part
witchcraft
of me
here.
that would be
See?
okay with that.
Man of science.
This ain't no motherfucking witchcraft, Peter.
Oh man.
Please make that a thing, Marvel.
JB Smoove as Doc Ock.
I'm gonna Photoshop a picture today.
They call me Science Octopus.
One of my initial issues with the movie was MJ figuring out that he was Spider-Man, like so quickly. But after the post-credits, or the mid-credits, it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't, but I feel like they did lay the groundwork for that in Homecoming.
Yeah, I don't think it was so fast. It was 2 films, basically.
I know. I'm just saying it felt kind of forced for me.
Okay.
But I like that they buried that in the reveal of something else. I like that they used that conversation to accidentally reveal exactly what Mysterio's been doing the entire time.
That's true. I like that they practically did that as well. Like
they layered it so it's like, even if you were upset for whatever reason at the fact that she just calls it out, even though it would be obvious to someone like her who doesn't really talk to anybody and just kind of watches everything, there was also something else that was going on that they needed to address sooner than talking about the thing that she actually just brought up.
Mm-hmm.
And it lent itself to Peter Parker allowed to be an awkward teenager in that moment where he had to explain that he wasn't. So like I loved that scene for those reasons. And then I thought this sequence where Happy was like trying to save the children from the evil drones.
That was a lot of fun.
Fantastic.
That was
We gotta get in the jet. We got. All right, different plan.
New plan.
They did seem to get into the crown jewel
The tower.
vault
Yeah.
very easily. I know that those guards were busy with the drones,
She's shooting at the
but no, that was really good. Fucking MJ swinging the flail or the Morning Star, whatever that's called.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Quick, give me the spear. It's a halberd. Like, Ned is such a fucking dork, and I love it. Or when Happy's trying to throw the shield, and he does like the whole cat pose and just like, yeah, and stops like 4 feet short.
It doesn't even go like fucking 10
How does he do that?
That was amazing.
It did get me again. Both times, I could not help but start to well up with tears, motherfuckers, when Peter and Happy are on the plane and they're talking about, sorry, Jordan, but they're talking about Tony.
Oh, was it Peter's breakdown? That was great. That was so fucking well written.
When Happy picks him up and he's like, say something that only you, like, and he's all freaked out after.
That was fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like that he's so freaked out.
And they've been hovering over the tulip field for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, that was a really well-written scene. It was well-written, well-acted. I love Tom Holland. I mean, when he put on
It was
It was
AC/DC. He
AC/DC.
said, I love Led Zeppelin.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love Led Zeppelin.
That was fucking great. But you guys had talked about Ned's relationship. But how great was that school news
Oh God.
green screen video?
The Getty Images.
the fucking slideshow with all of the stock photos and then the one that has the watermark on it.
And then the doves flying by.
Yeah.
I really don't like that song because as I was growing up, it was everywhere all the time. Once it came out for like 2 years straight, I like Whitney Houston's music repertoire, but I can't stand that fucking song from The Bodyguard. So to hear that at the beginning of this film, I was like, all right, well, that's...
I love that. I love the idea that they let it off with like, obviously this is what we have to do coming out of what Endgame was, but also subvert it with the shitty quality of what high schoolers put into work.
Yeah.
It's a direct callback to Homecoming, where after Vulture's introduction, then you have a film by Peter Parker, and I think that you were supposed to think that, oh, this is Peter doing this, obviously, because it's about Tony, but then it's not. And I thought it was a nice little red herring.
I thought it was good. I thought that was a great little scene where the kid next to, what was her name, Beth? Betty. He was just like, rest in peace, man. Like, he really tried to get like emotional about it, but then he's like, and also pizza for lunch or whatever.
It tripped me out a little bit when he was like, yeah, when I came back, my younger brother was older than I am. Yeah.
Like, that's how math works, yeah.
That was fucking funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was just going to say I wanted more Mysterio illusions. Because the one we got when he's in the warehouse, fuck, that was amazing. The whole thing.
That whole sequence was unbelievable.
Yep. Even to the point where he has him like trapped in the snow globe and then he gets shot and you're like, all right, okay, I'm pretty sure it's not, and then you keep going and you're like, it was great. It was so well done.
There were so many false finishes.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad they left it wide open for at least Gyllenhaal's Beck to come back, or for someone else to take up that Mysterio mantle. That I have no doubt we'll see Mysterio again in the future. One thing that did bother me about the film was that the one trailer that I saw, we saw a huge action set piece in that trailer with him in the Iron Spider armor, and that was completely dropped from this film.
Oh yeah, I noticed that.
But the good thing is, I was looking into it after the second showing last night. On the Blu-ray, there is going to be a short film made up of basically deleted scenes that all, like, it was almost like just an entire like 20-minute sequence that they dropped.
Really?
Called Peter's To-Do List.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
it's going to be like a one-shot.
Exactly.
That's
It's
cool.
going to be him going to Del Mar's, which that was the deli that he went to in the sub shop that he went to in the first movie, and then also that whole evidently it's a very drawn out sequence that he has in that action in like a restaurant or something like that, in the Iron Spider armor. I can't wait because that show.
Oh, okay. So speaking of the Iron Spider armor, he has to keep it in a containment suit in his apartment.
Yeah.
That is directly connected to his light switch that says "Do not close."
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's great.
The light switch has a ton of tape on it. It says "Do not turn
I
off."
was
Yeah.
wondering what that was.
And right below it, the containment unit is the nano suit is like swimming in whatever the fuck, in all the science.
Like to like charge it or whatever.
Oh, that's
So to keep it like powered and charged up and shit. I thought that was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I thought that
He's
was
just
cool.
using a regular outlet.
Well, no, I guess he has it like wired into his lights because the amount of power that must take to generate, it just always needs to be on.
well. I mean, if the way I looked at Tony's nano suit and then the Iron Spider is that each nanobot has its own arc reactor, so technically it doesn't really need to charge that much. because it's just got the arc reactors last for fucking ever, right? So
Yeah, but I mean that hasn't been confirmed.
no, but I think it's a pretty. I saw it mentioned somewhere else, but I think it's a pretty decent theory, and it makes sense within the universe.
True.
And
Real quick, I just want to touch on the Peter Tingle thing.
Yeah.
I really wish they played that up more to be a bigger deal, because they like mentioned it in passing at the very beginning and then don't mention it at all until the very end of the movie.
I agree.
So I wish
it should have been bigger.
Because
he's experiencing it throughout, but he doesn't. He's not talking to anyone to call it out. But when he does talk to people that do know about it, they mention it.
It was only that one time in the beginning.
No, I know, but then he doesn't talk to anybody that would be aware of what that even fucking means. It's not like he's going to holler out while he's in his Spider-Man costume, "Oh, I feel a Peter tingle." He's not going to say it. He didn't even like the fact that it's called that.
I mean, Spider-Man does usually say my spider sense is tingling.
Right, but...
Not to someone else.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, he didn't even, like, it wasn't even a thought. So when he's like, "Oh, I'm going to use the Peter tingle," I was like, what? Like, at no point during that movie was I like, "Oh, he's struggling because he's not able to dodge things or whatever, or he's not able to sense danger."
Well, I think that's why why Mysterio got the drop on him in the warehouse, because he didn't have the spider sense.
So in the comics, and I definitely remember, even if it's not in the comics, I definitely remember in the animated series, he didn't get the spider sense with Mysterio's shit because it wasn't real.
Was that it? Okay.
They might not have even thought about that. They might have just accidentally just left it out, but it would make sense because...
you're right.
Yeah, but there's like real...
No, that's totally true.
There's like other weapons. Like the drones are using weapons, so like technically it is real. That's why like there's like explosions and shit. So like I don't know. All I'm saying is I just wish that they played it up more, so that way it would have been a much bigger moment when he did close his eyes and go through that final sequence to dodge all those drones and beat them up. I feel like that would have really cemented that scene as like one of the better scenes of the movie. But because they didn't set it up, it didn't have a big of a payoff.
It was still a fun action sequence, though. That was pretty cool.
No, absolutely. But I'm just saying, like, it didn't feel like it was earned to me.
I see where you're coming from. I do wish they had mentioned more of the Peter Tingle, I guess we should call it.
No, it's going to be spider sense, I'm sure.
I hope.
No, he's not going to. The character hates that it's called a Peter Tingle. He's not. He's going to come up finally with spider sense, and everyone's going to be happy.
Yeah, I think he's going to actively workshop different word combinations. He'll have like a notebook page full of different ways to word that, and he'll settle on spider sense.
I've got like in my mind the next one shot for whatever the third film is him with a focus group. He's in the full costume. He's sitting behind the glass, and then he comes in and he's like, "So tell me your thoughts on."
It's like my Peter Tingle is killing me. No.
I really did, when it looks like Mysterio's dying on the ground, and then Peter just sticks his arm out real quick and catches. At first I thought he like caught a bullet.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
But then he pans up and you saw him just. I love that scene.
That caught me completely off guard.
Me too. That's why I loved it so much, is I really didn't see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
Also, poor choice of words, Peter, when you're shutting off all the drones. Fuck's sake.
Execute them all.
Yeah. Kill them. Kill everything. Execute.
Yeah. For a second, I was like, what did he just order them to do?
Yeah.
And then I was, oh, okay. All right.
Well, he might have said that because he is a fan of the new Star Wars movies. So he would have seen Episode 3 and therefore would be aware of execute them.
Jesus Christ.
The drones are the younglings.
Oh, God.
He would. They even mentioned they mentioned Star Wars again in this one.
Yeah, when Fury's heavy is the head that lies the crown or something like that. Whatever, however that goes, and he's like, Stark told me you wouldn't get that because it wasn't a Star Wars reference.
Yeah. Right. That was it.
So, final thoughts on the movie.
I really liked it. Upon a second viewing, I was able to appreciate it more. I don't know what they're going to do. I have faith in the MCU and Marvel Studios to do this. I don't know about Sony, but I definitely have faith in Marvel to write themselves out of the corner that they've written themselves into with his identity being out there now. But I really hope we get now, at least once every 2 years, because I fucking love Spider-Man.
Yeah, I definitely wish to see it again. And if I'm not able to see it again during its theatrical run, I can't wait for the Blu-ray, because I definitely want to watch this movie again and kind of like sink deeper into it, because everything was so vivid and happening so quickly and whatnot. I didn't think somebody had mentioned, not here, but I think I had read elsewhere that somebody had mentioned that the pacing of the movie was an issue for them, and I did not feel that at all.
I didn't feel that at all either.
I was up for this entire film. Even when it slunk down because it picked back up again, it didn't ever let itself kind of slow down to the point of where I was like, all right, I could get comfortable and kind of put my head back. But I thoroughly enjoyed everything that we got in this, and I can't wait to see it again and again and again.
I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I did enjoy it way more than Homecoming, so it leaves me hopeful for the next one to be even better than this. I also want to see this movie a second time. Like, I want to go to the theater and see it. I only saw Homecoming once, and then I just recently rewatched it. So I definitely, like I said, the more that I'm sitting here thinking about it, the more I'm like, okay, I want to go see that again. Who knows? Maybe it'll be even better the second go round.
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, I also loved it. A solid A, I'd give it. Yeah, great action, great acting. It was. I had so much fun from beginning to end. And man, that mid-credit scene, holy shit, that just made my whole day. So, I'll probably, I'd like to see it again in theaters too.
So for Pop Kannon, I'm Nick Fury.
I'm Nick Fury.
I'm Nick Fury.
And I'm Nick Fury.
You can't use the one that I'm using.
And everyone in the Netherlands is really nice.
Oh my god, I thought I was watching Midsommar again.
So that was our Spider-Man Far From Home episode. How do you feel about the movie? Where does it ultimately rank for you among the pantheon of Spider-Man films we've been treated to for the last 20 years? How about those credit scenes? Are you interested to see how they get Spider-Man out of this jam? J.K. Simmons is back as J. Jonah Jameson, and the Skrulls are here to stay. We want to know what you thought of the film, and you can tell us on any social medias you scroll through to pass the time by simply searching and following Pop Kannon. That's right, it's that easy. We're on a litany of major podcast platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just search and follow Pop Kannon. And remember the K. Kannon. Spelled with a K. It's different. Anyway, you like us, right? Want to tell us whose side you're on? Are the Tom Holland MCU Spider-Man films more your speed? Or do you not like that they've handed the MCU off to him by way of Tony Stark? You could tell us on the Pop Kannon pages, or you could drop us a line individually. I, Robert, am on Twitter and Instagram at Yesball. Jordan is on Twitter and Instagram at JL24FPS. Andrew is on Twitter at flavored_red and Instagram at Android Skeleton. Brian can be followed, and that's why it's not like him. He's made several social media accounts. He's sharing photos, telling you how his day is, sharing his dreams. It's weird. He's not quick with his repartee. I think something fishy is going on. Sometimes his voice slips into this inexplicable Australian accent, and he's suddenly a big fan of everything green. He's Talos. That's what I'm saying here. He's Talos. For the slow lot of you, like the science guy. So that's the show. Stay tuned for our next episode about Ari Aster's Midsommar, with a very special guest, and forthcoming episodes covering Stranger Things Season 3, Comic-Con 2019, and some more S1E1.